First of all, before I continue with this live stream, um, it's 12:54 a.m. 12:54 a.m. It's Central Standard Time, and it's February 22nd, 2022. February 22nd, 2022. I just want to know. Um, no, before I go about the story, I want to thank Art Banaka for the live stream you just did with my title. I appreciate that. Um, thanks Series Eyes as well, um, because up the that really put the final nail in the coffin about that certain situation. But right now, I'm gonna talk about something that's more. I was middle of editing video, and I noticed, I've been keeping watch what's going on in Eastern Europe, and let me say this. Now, I'm fully aware of the separatist group, the two separatist countries that borderline between the Ukraine and Russia. I understand about that, but I don't think that's the Russians' intention to invade the Ukraine, even though they are doing it now, since they since they since Vladimir Putin Vladimir Putin, I hope I got his name right. The president of Russia decided um, to call the two separate regions that border his country as part of Russia now. Same way like what he did to the Ukraine back in 2014. But there's something else that everybody else is not telling you. And there's another country that has strong ties to Russia. And let me say this before we before I continue on that one. The Russians are an ethnic group that's part of the Sov, right? The Slavic people, and the Slavic, uh, uh, you know, the Slavic people are people who are whose culture is in Eastern Europe, and you can extend that from if I'm not mistaken, from at least from Russia itself to the Ukraine into the other Belarus, and to the other country, or I should say region of the world, that I really think that's what they're really trying to do. And it's something that I noticed about a couple weeks ago. Um, Now, many of y'all heard of the country name Yugoslavia, right? And and there was a problem, and now though they're having a problem because in the 90s they had broke up into major um into a into countries of themselves: Croatia, Serbia, um, Bosnia, all of that. They all broke it up into different little factions, to different little regions. And about 2 weeks ago, I noticed something. Ukraine is not really the target. Oh yes, but they're in the way, right? I think what they're trying to do is influence what's inside the former Balkan region, because those people are primarily of the same ethnic tribe of or their brethren of the Russian people, the Russian Slavs. I think it's more to do with one uniting all the Slavic people into a certain protectorate of sorts, or well, that's how I'm looking at it, or to gain some type of assurances that NATO does not move into the Baltic region ever again. I'm thinking about it because and it also heard this about 2 weeks ago that that there is a strong nationalistic fervor in the former republics, um, that used to made up um, Yugoslavia. I'm Yugoslavia, right? So I'm really thinking about, well, this is like a chess move that everybody's attention is on Ukraine, right? Everybody's attention is on Ukraine, but I really think, and maybe it's just me, and I could be wrong on this, and I'll accept being wrong on this one. Maybe the real intended target is the Baltic states and reforming Yugoslavia rather than just trying to control, um, rather than just control the Ukraine. Hey, what do I know? You know what I'm saying? So according to yeah, I was looking at some news articles. Um, and let me try to go to yeah. There was one that says in Belgrade, Serbia. This about a week ago. Um, hundreds of protesters oppose um Serbia roadblocks near a government building. That's I think that's near Statehood Day ceremony. Um, there is a low birth rate, and Serbia subsidized first home buyers to boost low birth rates. Let me talk about that. That's something like, if I was in political power, that was something I would do for behalf of men, right? You know, um, create homes you know for men, and so men can build families, and so forth. Um, but I was looking at a report somewhere where it shows a increasing nationalistic, I mean nationalistic. I'm talking in a more of a Donald Trump esque, or a George Wallace esque, you know. Um, Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, let me go over here. But what I'm saying is, our eyes on the Ukraine, that's just a deflection. The real eyes should be in the Baltic region and what is going over there, what's happening in that part of region of the world. Because not too long ago, I think about during the latter part of Bush's term, the last, I want to say the like last two 2 years of Bush's of the George W. Bush's term, Russia invaded Georgia, the country of Georgia, that's on the Black Sea, for the same reason why for the same reason they're in the Ukraine, taking the two provinces that are rebelling, that's quote unquote rebelling against the um um hmm, Ukraine proper. Then I also, during that when happening, there was one thing though that angered the Russians. There was one thing that angered the Russians. It happened right at the same time, right? It happened right at the same time when this was going on. It had to do with the former republics of Lu. I can't pronounce that country. The Baltic nations like Serbia, which now we now call it Serbia and Bosnia, right? Lu Lugoslavia. That's what I'm naming it. I noticed something that happened right at the same time, right? America did one thing. America and Britain and the French, they did something that pissed off the Russians off. And I believe though this was part of the chess move. They went ahead and recognized the UN and the European Union in the Western countries. They they recognize um, one of the breakaway countries in that the geo the geographical location. And now I'm seeing it happening again. Now that was 2008, 2009, like 2007, 2008, right? Now it's 2022. It's the same thing. It's playing it. It's like a sequel or a reboot. A reboot. First it happened under Bush and then to Obama. Now it's happened under Biden. Now, Biden is a little bit more. You know, Biden is actually a sinking ship. Okay, he's a sinking ship in this regard. He's gonna be the fall guy for this, for the elite, or if there is such thing as the elite. But also, I noticed I'm noticing something that every time when this happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, like if you correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't the economy was bad at the same time when this was going on? I noticed something. See, I noticed something. The economy was bad all around the world because back then it was czars. Now today we got the virus. I call it the virus. I'm not gonna give it the name because we know how the YouTube Parlo Bureau is. So I gotta sit here and think. I have to think about this. Gas rising up. The same time, it's exactly like when Russia invaded Georgia in 2008. The same time is it's like it's playing over and over. Yeah, yeah. I've been monetized since Christmas. I've been monetized. Oh, well, actually, was it Christmas? Or was it It was around. It was during the holidays. I think it was right after Thanksgiving because I went ahead and reapplied. I actually applied for monetization and I got it back after two. What? I've been demonetized for at least 2 years now, 2 3 years now. Actually, three. Yeah, 3 years. But anyway, back to the point. I just want to. I just looking at it, and I'm only going off the top of my head, y'all. I'm only going off the top of my head because I actually read stuff. I actually read and look up stuff, and actually, I actually sit there and I actually read research about this, and I find this odd though. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I might do a part two to this because I'm only going by off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure what I'm saying can be backed up. I'm sure what I can say can be backed up, but ooh, man, right there's a fine. Oh my god, I'm gonna talk to her for a minute. Anyway, where was I at? Yeah, yeah. So anyway, let me get off of here. It's something that was on top of my head while everybody was talking about. While everybody on Black YouTube is talking about ADOS and don't worry about that. I'm jumping into the ADOS FBA issue with the Pan Africans. I gotta jump in on that one because I gotta say something that's gonna piss everybody off. Um, However, oh man, I forgot to do the whole Marcus Garvey thing. I forgot to do the whole my video on Marcus Garvey. Why Marcus Garvey is not really the hero y'all think he is. He's not really the people, wait, hold on. Shout out to the $2 donations. Thank you for the $2. No cap in urban news. Thank you for the $2 donations. So anyway, where was I at? Oh, and thank you, Google, for cutting me a check. Thank you, Google, for cutting me a check. I just thank you for cutting me that check earlier today. Just got notified. God got me some more money. I got the money and I gonna spend it. Yeah, I got some money on that one. But anyway, I know I'm just rambling right now. Um yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, but like back to what I'm saying, right? And I gotta get off and I don't feel like doing what I really want to do right now. I really don't want to get back into this shit. I really want. I hate cleaning this shit. But anyway, back to the point. Um, I actually think Russia's trying to use the Ukraine issue as a deflection to influence what's going on in the Baltic region. Um, it's not necessarily that they want the Ukraine. They really want the Balkan region for cultural for I want to say ethnic, and create an atmosphere where the big Soviet country would have satellites of smaller Soviet countries and be the protector over it against the against the well, I'll put it like this, against the quote unquote Western church, that is your Roman Catholics, your Protestant churches versus your Eastern or Orthodox religion. I kind of I'm looking at it in doom type of terms. You know, I'm looking at it in that sort of way. Um, it may not be necessarily religion, but religion does play a part in this. You know, the Eastern Christianity of the Russia and Eastern Europe versus the Western, you know, the Western church. But that's something else, though. That's something else to bring up into this. But I just noticed that. I just noticed that. If you want to look at the geography and the religion within each of these locations. But you know what? I would like to invite two people who are my moderators, who one two of them is out of Poland, and I want to get the other one who's out of Finland. I'm gonna talk to those three. I'm try to get them into a live stream one day, probably over the weekend, probably around Friday, Thursday or Friday when I'm free. Most likely Friday. Um, I'm gonna talk two of them because both of them are in Poland. No, one of them's in Germany, one of them's in Poland. Um, and since they're borderline with the since they're bordered with a Russia, I really want to know what their input is, rather. Um, because one of them told me that they look at Biden as a um someone of um well, I'd say they look at Trump as weak. How in America we look at Biden as weak when it comes to foreign policy, but they look at Trump differently when it comes to American foreign policy. Well, anyway, I'll let that person explain that one. Um, Hopefully Friday. I have to send out a couple emails out for that discussion alone to be um to be talked about. But anyway, let me get off of here, and I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.